Let's get into some shite. All right, folks, welcome to another Apocalyptic. This is a Monday Apocalyptic, and it's one that I did not forget. Actually, I didn't forget last week, I don't think. I just kind of, oh man, I was snowed under. I was bogged down. That was a rough week. Last week was rough. This week, I don't know yet. It's a little early. Too hard to tell. But I think it's going to be good. How's your week? How was your weekend? I believe it was coldest in Atlanta. It's been in a while. Yesterday, actually, Sunday, was really cold. We had to take our dogs to the dog park. About froze my hot dog off. And speaking of hot dogs, we had chili last night. Now, let me tell you something. This is a secret. Don't want anybody to mention anything about this outside of us. All right? I've kind of come to the point where I think my wife can't make chili. Now, shh. Don't say it. Don't tell her. I love her cooking. She cooks, and she does it completely on her own. She's not obligated to cook for me. She does it because she likes it, and I like almost everything she makes. Every once in a while, she'll try a little something that I just can't get into, or she'll put a new spin on something that I just don't like. She's learned the things I don't like. She learned don't put goat cheese in anything. I just will not eat it. I'm not into that. I don't like sweet foods in my main food. So, I don't like salads with raisins and pineapple and pears and apples in it. I like fruit salad. I'll eat the fruit salad, but I just don't want my sweets mixing with my main courses. When I eat meat, I could not eat ham, pineapple, and sweet chicken, and just not for me. I like smoky barbecue, not sweet. So she's been trying. She does chili. So now I call her chili bean soup. Okay, it's delicious. It's great, but it's not. Like when you go to the ball game and you get a hot dog. Speaking of hot dog, and you put chili on the top, and you get this I don't know. It's almost like a sauce. It's like chili. It's got beans and meat, and I don't eat the meat anymore, but still beans and fake meat, and it's just hearty. But you can't really put her chili on a hot dog. It's just really soupy chili. And so yesterday I suggested we have chili since it was a cold day. It's a cold day. Let's have chili. And so she said, I'm going to make you chili the way you like it. And I was like, oh, that's going to be awesome. So I think she got online and found some recipes, and she put together chili. Now I will say, it was closer. She got close, but it wasn't real chili. So I don't want to tell her because it'll hurt her feelings. And she might cry and she might divorce me. I don't want any of that stuff to happen over chili. So I'm just saying it's good. It's good chili. She made great chili last night. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to make a pot. I'm going to have to make a pot of chili and say, this is the good stuff right here. And then she's going to be like, ugh, that really? You would eat that? That's got way too much sodium in it. That's just not got any substance. There's no vegetables in there. I put corn in my chili. Do you? Corn and chili's awesome, man. Something else you could do is call me on our listener line, 678-348-0008. Tell me what you put in your chili. That line is for you to use whenever you want. I'm just leaving it up to you. Call, leave a message. I'll put it on the podcast. You could text the message too, or you could reach out through email, rick@apocalyptic.com, or just send me something on Facebook. Facebook, I'm there. I'm on Instagram, and I have a website, apocalyptic.com. All the episodes available there. But you know what? You could subscribe. Wherever you get podcasts, just subscribe and be a subscriber. If you want to, leave a review. That always helps, especially if it's a good one. Yeah, participate and share it. That helps me a lot. Just tell your friends, hey, listen to this podcast. Or just anytime you see that episode posted, just repost it. One time. Won't hurt you. I would do yours if I saw them. I'm sure of it. Here's what I really think is weird. I feel like every time that I talk about something, and like I have a topic for a show or something, I talk about it. It always seems like the next week, whatever I talked about the next week somehow affects me. It's like I could go back and go, wow, I wish I'd known then that this was going to happen, because it's exactly what I talked about. And this week, like this weekend, I had to. So like last week, I talked about letting go. This weekend, I had to let go of a friendship. I had to completely drop it. The other person, in my opinion, was acting like a jerk, and I was just like, you know what? Don't need that in my life. Dropped it. Completely dropped it. Closed the door. No more. And you know what? This is what's really weird, is I had resisted doing that for a long time because I thought it's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. I'm going to be up all night. I'm going to be tormented. I'm going to feel bad. But I did it. And there was this like sense of peace, and I realized that should have been done. Usually when you feel that sense of, that's just a sign that you made the right move. Well, it's kind of like a spiritual thing. Like deep down inside, it's like peace. That's no longer in your life. So that's a good thing. All of the stuff I talked about last week about letting go, I got to actually practice it this week, and it works. Obviously you lose things when you let them go, you lose them, but you also gain things, and you gain peace, and you gain perspective, and you gain vision and peace of mind. Even your life is a little clearer. So yeah, that's good. It's gone. It's out of the way. Don't have to think about it anymore. One of my friends this week mentioned St. Elmo's Fire to me through text, and we actually met through St. Elmo's Fire years and years ago. And my friend mentioned St. Elmo's Fire, and I hadn't thought about it for a while. Now, if you know anything about me, if you listen to podcasts in the past, St. Elmo's Fire was my movie. That was the movie I saw it over 60 times in the theater when it came out in 1985/86. 60-something times in the theater. Now, that was the age when you could go to a theater and sit there. You could go to a matinee, 12 o'clock, and then you could just watch the movie like all you want. Just don't leave the theater. They would let you do that. So, and I took advantage of that. I would go in watch an early movie, 12 o'clock maybe, and I would stay sometimes till 8, just watching it 3, 4, 5 times. Yes, at 22, I had no life, nothing to do but watch movies, and that's what I did. But it's weird because it just, I don't know, it's a part of my life, but I don't think of it as a distant part of my life. It just, I don't know, it's something I've carried around, I guess, and still do a little bit. I mean, it's not the best movie, I know that, but it was a movie I emotionally connected to at the time, and at the time I thought it was fantastic. But I've seen it now well over 100 times, and I mean I could quote it to you in my sleep, and I know every flaw in it. I know every bad acting moment in it. I know I could act it out myself if I needed to. But still, I watched it this past autumn, this past fall. Again, another viewing. And it'd been a little while since I'd seen it, but it's just, I don't know. It's just like eating comfort food. It's just something that is fun. It just kind of takes me back to my youth. But my friend mentioned something about St. Elmo's Fire, and I started thinking there's a line that Demi Moore's character says. She says, "I never thought I would feel so old at 22." And so I was 22 when the movie came out. So I was the same age as these characters, and that's one of the reasons why I related to it so well. But I started thinking, 22? I mean, next month, I will be 61. I'm almost 40 years older than when. Oh my God, that's just, it's unreal. It's unreal to think about that. But yeah, that's an entire 40 years is an entire life. Elvis he just lived barely over 40 years, 44, I think, something like that. So just like the time St. Elmo's Fire came out and the time now, I could have had Elvis as a child and raised him all. No. Well, anyway, you know what I'm saying. It's a full lifetime in there. It's just crazy. It just does not seem like it was that long ago. But I think about, the 80s, I was in college in the 80s. I don't know what you were doing. Some of you probably weren't born. I was in college, went to college in 80, got out of college in 85, I think. So St. Elmo's Fire didn't even come out until after I was out of college, which is good. I did force a couple of my college friends to go see the movie. I don't think they've ever forgiven me for that. But I was thinking about the 80s even. So like 80s, I love the 80s. I liked that decade. And there's a lot of kitschy stuff about it. There's a lot of schmaltz. There's a lot of things that, the music. Well, people love 80s music. If you ask people what their favorite kind of music, even kids, they'll say, I love 80s music. The pop music then was really good and fun. It's a nice background. All the music it's just nice little background. I don't know about foreground music. I don't know like the Police would probably have been foreground music. I would go see a concert of the Police, but mostly like Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Michael Jackson. That's the stuff. That's your soundtrack. That's in the background of your life. And I remember that, especially in the early 80s, just kind of as a kid and in college and the summer times. 80s to me feels summery. I always think of the summer with the 80s and wearing white parachute pants. Remember those? White parachute pants and fluorescent or just really bright color tank tops. A-shirts, I guess they call them. Wife beaters, whatever you call them. I don't know. And that came from Miami Vice. Everybody was wearing, you remember the Miami Vice outfit. It was a bright color casual suit, not leisure suit, but casual suit. And a little tank top kind of shirt. Multicolored, sometimes fluorescent. And that's what I remember. I remember wearing that in the summer and all the kids hanging out at the arcade. Remember the arcade? Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man. I never played video games, but I don't know. The 80s feels like a big arcade. Even the noise, the pop music sounded like an arcade. Everything sounded like you were in a video game. I do believe in the 80s, we were just a video game. We were one giant video game, and we kept bumping into each other, making little boop, boop sounds and stuff like that. I still bump into people. I don't make the sounds. My sounds now are more like, oh, ooh, the 80s. That was a great decade, man. I came of age in the 80s. I got married in the 80s, went to college in the 80s. Well, the opposite, went to college, got married. I actually graduated from high school in 1980, so I was in high school in the 80s, technically. Few months anyway. So that was that's my big decade. But now I'm closer to the age 80 than I am to the decade 80. I never thought, I guess I hoped, never really thought what that would be like. But I've noticed recently I've noticed this weird resistance to aging, which I've never had before. I've never cared about aging. I like aging, but I think it's just the physical part of aging that I've started noticing this resistance. And I think we all know, if you're 13 and you look in the mirror, and then you're 23 and you look in the mirror, 10 years different, but big difference in the way you look. So it's like another person looking back at you in the mirror, and that feels weird. We see it, and then you get to 33, you see it. 43, you really see it. And so I'm seeing that when I look in the mirror. It's just like you look back and you're like, okay, well, I know it's me. It has to be me who's looking back, but it doesn't look like me. So one of the things recently I've started letting the gray in my beard grow out. I always use like Just for Men beard wash, which by the way, let me just say that's excellent. If you're a dude and you don't want your beard to be gray, you don't like the gray, it's great. Because I've used dyes before. I've used like the Just for Men beard dye and put on there, and you look like Satan for a while because you get this really, really dark beard, like a magician or something, like Anton LaVey. It's very stark, and everybody knows it. They pretend like they don't. You think that maybe they don't. They do. They know. But the beard wash now, it's a very gradual change. So you do a little bit. You could probably tell somewhat the first time, but not that much. And the second time you start seeing it just a little bit, and it's just gradual little bit, and it doesn't color it like drastically. You get a little bit. You even still, for me anyway, I still got a little tiny bit of gray, so it made it look more natural to me. And that was fine. I liked it, but I'm just tired of it. And I'm just thinking, how long am I going to do this? I think I wasn't resisting age with that. I just felt like my face looked better with dark beard on it because I got light skin. It's like you get a white beard, just like you disappear, like Casper. You're the ghost. You're the ghost man. People would act. Kids would start screaming, start crying. Oh, mommy, a ghost man. So the beard helps for me. But I just said to heck with it. I don't care about what kids think of me anymore. I'll be the ghost man. I'm going to let my beard go. So I've started letting it grow out, and it's kind of cool. I sort of like it. But yeah, now when I look in the mirror, I feel like I look my age more. And I've given up on having a waistline. That's not going to happen. I'm always going to. I don't eat that much. Why? I look like I eat a barrel of fat every day. I look like I have like a spoon in a big tub of Crisco, just chomping it down. And that's what my stomach looks like. I don't eat like that. I feel like very normal, sometimes less than I used to. But my metabolism, I don't know what it is, but I just can't get rid of it. So I just realized, okay, I'm going to be fat man. I'm just going to be a fat man. I'm going to be a fat old man. I don't know, you can't be fat and old too long because your body tends to give out. So I got to be careful. Still going to eat healthy. Going to try to eat healthy. But I'm going to get used to being old. I've noticed my hairline's going. So my hairline goes in phases. So I can remember several years ago when it really started going up on the sides, almost like a widow's peak, it starts moving up. And I was like, oh no, oh, here we go. I'm going to lose it. And then it just stopped. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I could take that. I could do that. It's not too bad. And then a couple of years, I noticed that the very front starting to get thin. And I was like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And then it quit. Just stayed that way for a while. I was like, oh, okay. It's like teasing me. And so recently I've noticed it's really starting to climb back on one side at the top. And I've noticed at the very, very front, it's starting to really get thin. It's just going to keep going. It is. I didn't think that was going to happen. I've had hair salon people tell me I would not go bald, that I had really good hair. But they lied to me. I'm going to be a bald, fat, old man quoting St. Elmo's Fire dialogue. I don't know. That I just have to give up. Have you seen Rob Lowe? Rob Lowe is my age. He looks younger than me, I think. I don't know though. I don't know. He doesn't really. Andrew McCarthy does, though. I've seen he's like coming into Atlanta here. I really wanted to go see Andrew McCarthy, but I felt like if I go see Andrew McCarthy and I'm just like, Andrew, hi, I've seen St. Elmo's Fire 170 times. He's going to be like, security, get this guy out of here. He probably gets that all the time. But yeah, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go see Andrew. I don't want to start a problem. But Andrew looks good. Most of those people look pretty good. Demi Moore looks okay. Right? I think. I haven't seen Emilio Estevez in years, but I think he's got good genes. Who looks the worst? I don't know of all of that whole group. Judd Nelson, man, looks like he's letting himself go. Big beard, white beard. He doesn't care. He's going to do what I'm doing. I'll just be Judd Nelson. I'll be Judd's stunt double for any movies that he's going to be doing. When they do Return of the Breakfast Club, when the Breakfast Club's grandkids are in detention and they have to come back and put on a sketch in order to get the grandkids out of detention. And Judd Nelson has to do that part where he's like crawling in the ceiling tile, and he's ancient at that point, and I'll be his double. I'm committed to that, to being Judd Nelson's stunt double. I don't even know where I'm going, folks. All right, I'm going to put a stop to it. I'm having fun. It's been a fun few days. Last few days have been okay. Some things happened that weren't too cool, but for the most part, having a good time. I hope you are too. I will say the key to all of this is just acceptance, right? That's what we know. You got to learn to accept it. Even if you don't accept it, it's going to happen. Resisting just hurts. So you just have to stop and go, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens without that friendship. Let's see what happens with a big fat gut. Let's see what happens with my beard white. And let's see what happens if I never get to eat good chili again. I don't want to do that. Could someone maybe pass a note or a really good recipe over to my wife? I don't know. I got to find some way to get some really good chili. I'll take her to a baseball game. That's it.